Lady Studio. It's good to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
Well, I wanted to reach out to you because I saw you somewhere. I'm not even going to say where, but you're somebody that's just kind of really recently peaked, right? About this whole kind of, you tell me, what are you waking up to?
Well, I got peaked. Probably I think it was within 6 months after Kelly J got. I don't know if she were arrested or I don't know what the proper word is, like questioned by cops.
Mhm.
So I think it was about 6 months after that that I saw this article on Facebook, and uh, I thought it was an Onion article or some type of satire website. So I read it, and then I actually went on YouTube immediately, looked her up, and I saw that she had been on Good Morning Britain, and she had done a few
Mhm.
interviews,
Mhm.
and I was like, well, this is real.
Mhm.
So I followed her on YouTube, and that's when I started watching her videos, and she started talking about the dangers of trans ideology and how it's she put it in, I think it was in trigonometry, where she said at the small end of the wedge are the pronouns, the bigger end of the wedge, are men and women's prisons, men and women's refuges, and with breastfeeding groups, stuff like that. So that's when my eyes started to open, but it didn't become real to me until last November when I found myself in the women's locker room with a small towel on that didn't cover my entire body, and here's a man with his pants down. So that's when it became real, because I always thought that I naively thought that it was somewhere else, somebody else, some other country. I never would have thought that it would be that I would be the one to tell this story.
Mhm.
So that
Mhm.
I was fully awake in November, but I had known about these dangers for a few years
I
from
got a
following.
question. So
Sure.
you on Facebook, you saw something, you thought it was the joke like Babylon Bee or the Onion. Do you
Yeah,
remember what the headline was or what the particular story was?
I don't because I didn't even share it. I just clicked on it and I read it, but it's something about definition of woman,
Mm,
and this woman gets questioned by cops or some type of a headline that really made me think like this was a joke for because
yeah.
this woman put the definition of woman on a billboard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So now in November, then, and you're talking November of 2021, right?
Yes.
So tell us, walk us through, because this is sounding kind of like a we spa thing that, we had in California, but let's hear it.
Well, I moved back up to this area, and I had been a part of this gym years ago. So I just moved back. I had a rapport with the gym manager. Um, he so he signed me up December of 2020. So from December 2020 all the way till November 2021, never any issues. I worked out. After I work out, I hit the sauna for about 30 minutes. I shower and I leave. But this particular day, I was getting ready I had just gotten out of the sauna, had this towel on. The gym gives you a towel, but they're always too small. So it doesn't wrap completely around your body. So I was getting ready to head into the shower. I realized that I had left something in my locker. So I walked past, or I walked back to my locker, and then that's when I heard a man's voice. And immediately, this has never happened to me before.
And this is a
Ev-
women's, I mean, you're thinking this is a women's locker area.
Yes, because it says women, and it has a
Okay.
little icon with the dress. So yeah,
Okay.
women only. So every alarm bell that every alarm bell that I could possibly have had in my body just went off. I had never felt anything like that before. Because I'm like, I got to get back to the shower, but my body won't let me go. And so at first I thought he was at the entrance, like talking to his daughter because he had a little girl with him.
Mm.
And but then I was thinking, I stood there for a second, like this is the voice is too close. He's too close to be at the very entrance.
Mhm.
So I'm going back and forth like, this can't be happening. This is happening. Maybe this is a woman on steroids, which I've been a gym rat for 14 years. I was an athlete in college. I know what those women sound like.
Mhm.
So this argument is going off in my head, and to kind of squash it, I was like, I'm going to find out that this is not a man by looking at him. So I went from behind the lockers. So I'm walking past the aisles, and then I come up on him and I see that he has his pants down. So as I'm coming up on him, he's pulling his pants up. And I look at his, I did a quick scan, and that's when my heart sank, because I'm like, this is not a woman. This is a man jaw, man height, man shape of body, and stuff like that.
And you still have just that towel. Is that it? Or did you get some clothes? You're still walking around with, okay.
Yeah, the towel did not cover my entire backside, and it didn't cover the side of my right breast. But
Great.
yeah, and so I'm looking at him off to the side, and I'm noticing that his head is following me as I'm walking.
Oh, great.
And so I went past the mirrors and stuff like that, and I I was behind a wall where the showers were, and I just said, I gotta take a video of this, because no one's going to believe me.
Mm-hmm.
So out of respect for the women, I wasn't filming any of the women. There weren't any women walking around where he was at
How
anyways.
many women were in there approximately?
Well, I did see there was one lady, she had a gi on. So she was one of the instructors for the martial arts class. I noticed that she had walked, when I was standing there at the shower, she was walking towards me, but I know she kept turning around, looking at him and giving this funny look like, but then she just went into the shower. And then I only noticed one other woman, but I think she had to have walked in after I went to the showers, because I didn't see her over there, because she was on the same aisle as the man was when
Mm-hmm.
I walked back towards after the guy left. So I
Mm-hmm.
think she had to have come in later. So it was really only me, the instructor at the time, this guy, and his daughter.
How old did
So
his daughter look like?
she was probably about 9 years old, thereabouts.
What the hell was a man doing in the women's area with a 9-year-old girl?
I have no clue. It was so bizarre. And the way he was talking to her, it to me, it appeared that he was putting on a show, because this little girl is just chatty, whatever, and he's like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Oh my God, stop talking. And I'm like, bruh. I mean, she's not saying anything, like she's not really doing anything except just talking, She's not yelling or screaming or anything, or horsing around. And then he just kept making noises like, oh, oh. And I'm like, again, bruh, what are you doing? Because this locker room is very quiet and somber, and here he comes in here with this bullshit. And so it totally just, it changed the mood. And so as I turned on my camera, so unfortunately I did not catch the cursing at his daughter and some of the grunting that he was doing. So I put my video recorder on, but I recorded the floor, so that way I could capture his voice. And then I heard that he had gone into one of the bathrooms to use the bathroom. He came out and he was washing his hands, and I was like, this is a perfect time to get a flash of him. I saw the back of him, which was totally, totally unmistakably a man, um, and more grunting and just, just again, he just seemed like he was showing off. Um, I heard what made me think that he and his daughter were getting ready to leave. So so I peeked around the corner. They both had their jackets on, and he was walking towards the exit. So I was like, okay, this is the perfect time for me to go back to my locker. And as he was, there's a bit of a hallway, probably about 10 feet worth of hallway. So he turned completely around as I had stepped from behind the showers and gave
You
me
haven't
one.
said anything at all, right? Everything that you're talking about is going on in your head, all this. And he didn't see you with the phone either, recording anything.
No, he saw that I had a phone in my hand, but I had it in a way that looked that I kept that same angle. Like I didn't follow him around. I had that same angle, and I was pretending to text as I was walking from behind the shower. And I caught a glimpse. The camera caught a glimpse of him, and then he turned around to look at me one more time before leaving. And so he had to have seen the side of my breast as he was walking out.
Okay. What happens after that? Did you ever make it to the shower, or did you just freak out and leave? What happened with that?
I went ahead and took a shower, and as soon as I got done with the shower, I called one of my homeboys and I told him, like, I can't believe this is happening. Actually, I called a couple of them and I told them everything that happened. I went on was it Yahoo reviews, and I left a review. And but then after I think this happened on a Saturday. So on Monday, I made the decision that I needed to talk to the manager. So I scheduled an appointment with the manager that I had a good rapport with. We'd known each other for a few years. Um, we scheduled an appointment. When I got there, he's like, "We got to wait for such and such other manager." And I at first I thought that was more of a it's not going to look right if a man and a woman goes in a room by themselves. You know,
Mhm.
it's important to have another female there just for, protection,
Mhm.
witness, whatever. So I told them what happened. I got the whole conversation on record because I live in a one party state. So I got the whole conversation on record. So I told them everything that happened. I told him about how he appeared to be following me with his head as I was walking by, the grunting, the cursing at his daughter, all of these things. And I naively thought that they were going to sympathize with me or be on my side, which they weren't. I got I haven't listened to the recording in a while, but I got things like, we need to be careful in this day and age because women have deep voices like you. They told me that some women take steroids. I'm just like, I know what that sounds like. This is not a woman on steroids. As a matter of fact, his voice was higher than mine. Um, they I was asked to take the review down. They showed me pictures of his Instagram, completely inappropriate. They talked about the work that he had gotten done to his body. Uh, oh, he is all female. Like they were rubbing their bodies like this, all female. She is all female. And I was in disbelief. And I'm embarrassed to say that at first, I was like, oh my God, I made a mistake.
Mhm.
Because the one manager, his name is Jamie, he appealed to their friendship and said that, oh, I've known her for a long time. She comes here with her daughter, blah, 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 blah. And so, yeah, I completely I was apologetic. And I forget what else. They said a few other things I can't remember at this point. But so I left the meeting feeling completely embarrassed. And I went to my car, I called one of my homeboys and I told them what they said. And that's a man. Because they saw pictures of him, they heard the video. Like, that is a man. And one of my other homeboys was like, if that's a woman, that is a Joanna woman. So after some time, I kept looking at the pictures and the videos, and I was like, that is unmistakably a man. And also in the interview, the management said that they had never heard of the transgender thing. They didn't know that men were in women's prisons. They didn't know about all these things. But that's a good thing. We should think about that. What we're going to do if that ever happens. Yeah, we need to think about that. And then I just started thinking. About it. Like they even said that regardless of what the laws are, federally or state, they were not going to allow males in the women's restroom. And I just said, so you're saying that you're going to break the law, like regardless of what the law says, we're not going to allow males in the women's bathroom, in the women's locker room.
Mm-hmm.
So just thinking about all that, I just said they couldn't admit that there was a man in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
They had to find a way to get me to drop this whole man in the bathroom thing. So this was their way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I reached out to Karen Davis with my story, and she posted it, and she read my email that I had sent to her. I immediately switched gyms. I called Jamie and I said, look, I'm going to need to cancel my membership. Oh, why are you canceling? I said, because there's a man in the women's locker room, and I didn't like the way you and forget the other lady's name. I didn't like the way that you two handled it. And he's like, I could hear it over the phone, like, and he's like, okay, well, I will cancel your membership. You have a blah, 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 blah. And then we hung up. So I went to another gym and I talked to the manager beforehand and I said, look, this is what just happened. Do you allow this? I was very clear. Do you allow men in the women's bathroom? And I even said males. I was saying like males with dresses on, males with, I was trying to be very specific because if you say man, they'll just say no. If you say male and dresses, it kind of puts them in this corner that they can't get out of.
Yeah.
So the manager, his name was Juan. I also recorded the conversation. He said, he's this really like real alpha male guy. He's like, no, we don't put up with that. We don't allow men in the women's bathroom. And then he talked about how there was actually a man in one of the same gym, but in a different location. He had totally stripped and was walking around naked in the women's locker room, and they had to physically remove him because he would not leave. So he talked about he's like, he said that there was a gay man that had fucked me hard on a crop top, and he would walk around free balling in the men's bathroom. And he said that several of the members complained to him, and that they sat him down and talked to him and said that you're making the men uncomfortable. We can't have this. So he's like, if anybody, male or female, is bothering you in any way or making you feel uncomfortable, you come let me know. He's like, you come let me know, over the top. But because he's like, I wouldn't want my fiance in that situation at all. I wouldn't want my fiance in the bathroom with a man.
Right.
Well, he made me feel uncomfortable. So I immediately signed up. I did find one thing to be weird. When I did the tour, he called one of his other managers in to the ending of our meeting. He explained a little bit what we were talking about. And so he signed me up, or, he took me on a tour first. He led me right into the men's bathroom. And I was just like, what are you doing? He's like, yeah, men's bathroom. I was like, are there men in there? I mean, is the women's thing closed and the men's thing closed? Like, what's going on here? Like, no. So he led me in. And I walk in, and of course there are men standing around. And I was just like, this is a man's locker room. What are you doing? And he's like, well, I thought that you said that. And I said, no, I am female. I have a uterus. What I was saying is, and I reiterated what I had told the manager Juan about what happened at the last gym. I'm like, I'm not the man in a woman's clothing. I'm a female, So he pointed to the women's locker room. We finished everything off, whatever. So
hold on a minute. You're telling me that this guy, after you told him all this stuff and he's hearing your voice,
Hmm.
he decided that you were a man and that this is, and you were complaining about what then? What did he think you were complaining about?
I was so confused because, I mean, even though I had a hoodie on, because I'm wearing makeup now, but I'm for the most part I don't. So I had my hoodie on. I had, I think, Frosty the Snowman pajama pants and my skate shoes on, and I had my hoodie over my head. So, but I was just like, hips, boobs, like come on, man. So I don't know what was going on in his mind. Juan was the one that heard the whole thing. This guy came in at the end, but even though he came in the end, he should have heard what Juan was telling him about men being in the women's locker room and making them feel uncomfortable, and how they don't allow that. How he interpreted that as, I'm a male with boobs and hips, and I have no idea. I don't. Somebody speculated that he did that to as a jab.
On purpose. That's what it
Yeah,
sounded like to me.
I can't
Can you
say.
describe anything about this guy? Like I was just wondering if he was like an effeminate gay guy.
No, not
Not
at
at
all.
all.
No,
Okay.
no, just regular Latino guy, young, probably mid 20s or something like that.
Not that bright. Just not bright. And
Yeah.
probably racist. So let's just
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would say that from my experience with the guys outside of Juan, the operations manager, they were, you would bring anything up to them, like there, hey, there's a pile of dog poop on one of the mats in the Pilates room. It needs to be cleaned up. You'd come back like a week later and it's still there. And they just weren't helpful. They would just stand around talking to girls and ordering pizza. So honestly, I don't even know if the guy were listening when Juan was explaining to him what was going on. So maybe in his mind, he jumbled everything up and thought, oh, this is a transgender, whatever.
whatever that
So
is.
blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so I gotta take him to the men's bathroom. I have no idea. But I still wonder about that. But that's not the last we've heard of this guy. So I was working out, everything was going well. They had uh After I would do my workouts, I would go in the steam room, and if I were by myself, I would practice my vocal exercises and stuff like. I mean, it was a really nice gym. And then after that, I would go in the sauna, just relax after a heavy workout. And one particular day, I had come out of the steam room because I needed to cool off a little bit, and I had gone. Now, the way the locker room is, it's like sectioned off, but not by a door. It's like you got to go into the lockers and the sinks, then you got to go back out, and the showers are separated by a wall. So there are different parts of the women's locker room.
Mhm.
So I had left the steam room past the hot tub. I went into where the lockers and the sinks were, which if you're there, you can't see the steam room, you can't see the hot tub, and then the showers are on the other side of the wall, so you can't see those either. So you're essentially, by yourself. So I had walked into where the sinks were and the lockers, and I didn't notice anybody was behind me. So I mean, luckily I was fully dressed, but I had bent over to put some water on my face to cool off, and then that's when I heard a man's voice, and I just said, "You gotta be fucking kidding me!"
It sounds like a Saturday Night Live skit.
Yes, because it was so. I don't know how can I describe this. It was like a C-rated movie type acting quality. Like, those are such cute pants you have on.
Mm.
Seahawks, yeah. Like, it was
Mm.
so fake. Like,
Mm.
homeboy wasn't even trying. So I spun around and I saw that sure enough, it was a guy, big guy, stocky guy, tall guy, even though he was sitting down. But he wasn't getting dressed, he wasn't gathering up his belongings, he wasn't doing anything. He was just staring at me like,
Mm.
and he had his arms kind of like this, like coyly, like smiling at me. And I just said, and I got a paper towel and I just got the fuck out of there. I got my stuff, immediately called one of my homeboys again. And I said, I was out in the parking lot, like cursing and yelling, I can't believe this. And I forget some of the things that he was saying. But he did say, you should go back inside and tell the women that there's a man in there.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, what if they call me a transphobe? I don't have time for this shit today. And he's like, you need to go back in.
Now, hold on. I got to ask you a question at this point. It's funny because I did mention We Spa, but you know that happened in the summer.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
what you had seen that? Were you thinking about We Spa at all when this is happening, and thinking about what Cubana Angel did, where she just started, let's it, turn the camera on, go to the desk, start this up. There's a man.
I wanted to, but I think because this wasn't, first of all, the incompetency of the front desk.
Mm-hmm,
They're
mm-hmm.
standing around talking to girls, flirting with girls, hugging the girls that are working out there, and just how they just seemingly didn't care. Like when you would bring things up to their attention, like, look, there's dog poop in the
Yeah.
Pilates room, clean it up. It's a health hazard. And just how they didn't take care of it. So I guess I'm thinking, because this guy wasn't a total, I guess he put forth some effort, that if I went to these already incompetent guys, that I wasn't going to get anything. I wasn't going to get anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought, because this is a really dark blue county, I wasn't sure how people would have accepted or would have taken what was going on. Um, so but going back to what my homie said, he told me to go back, kept telling me to go back. So I went back and I talked to one of the Latinos, because this was a very, um, uh, I guess you could say this particular gym had a lot of Latinos, a lot of Central and Western Asians.
Mm-hmm.
So just the I was thinking that here is this white man sitting in a corner watching these women from all over the world come in here, walk around naked. you know in their mind, they can do these things. They can get undressed, they can bend over, they can spread their legs, because they think that there aren't any men in the locker room. So I put my big girl panties on and I went back in, and one of the ladies that I had chatted with in the steam room for a minute, I went up to her first and I just said, listen, I'm just gonna let you know that there was a man in here. And so we started going back and forth. She's like, I appreciate you telling me this. While we were talking, an older woman came in. She was probably in her 60s. And she was listening to what I was saying to this woman about a man being in the locker room. And so I could tell she was listening. And the woman, the Latina lady that I was talking to, I could tell she was starting to make these excuses like, oh, well, sometimes they are transgender, and that they're not attracted to us like other men. And I'm like, I don't have time to go into a long speech about how she's completely wrong, because gay men do not want to be around naked women, especially sitting in the corner the way he was. So when the Latina lady was saying all these things, the older woman, she did this karate chop, like, men don't belong in the women's bathroom. I don't care. They need it. So she started yelling and whatnot. So um so the so after I let them know what was going on, I left. And for 2 weeks, I didn't go back to the gym at all. I was angry, I was frustrated, I was hurt, I felt traumatized, because here I am bent over in a way that I would not have been if I had known that a man were behind me. And I just thought, this is such a man thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
A woman is bent over and you compliment whatever is on her ass. Women don't do that. Like, we don't get behind each other when we're bent over. Like, those are cute workout pants. So I eventually I made a phone call, because I was like, you know what, I need to talk to the manager. So I called the management, and before they would transfer me, the guy wanted to know what my call was about. So I told him what had happened in the bathroom, and he immediately said, well, this is the first time I've ever heard about this. Now, remember, he said, this is the first time I've ever heard about this happening.
Mhm.
So he transferred me to one of the managers. So I explained a little bit what had happened, but I said I would rather have a meeting with you face to face. So we scheduled a meeting. I went to the meeting, and before I even got to the counter, the manager, not that manager, but Juan had come out. He was already waving his hands like, man, oh, miss, oh yes, we got it, miss, we got him. You know, he was in the bathroom, and well, we got him, we revoked his membership. And I just said, wait a minute. You don't want to know what day this was. You don't want to know what he looked like. You didn't want to know anything. You just come out the gate like, oh, we got him. You don't need to worry about it anymore. We got it. So I just immediately I was like, do you want to know what the guy looked like? Do you want to know when this happened? And he had told me that this guy was in the bathroom because he wanted to wait for his wife to get done using the bathroom. And immediately I said, in my mind, I said, that doesn't make any sense. What woman is going to tell her husband to come into the come into the locker room with naked women around to wait for her to get done using the toilet?
And that if there was such a woman that existed, that she wouldn't have heard her husband making that comment to you about your workout pants. So
Exactly.
Juan is, whoever Juan is, he's completely freaked, it sounds like, at this point, of getting in trouble or whatever, right?
Yep.
To stop everything.
Yep. And I just wanted to say real quick that talking with Karen Davis and having her talk about what happened to me with management and like the psychological warfare they tried to play on me, it really prepared me for this time because I wasn't going to have the bullshit. And I said it before I went. I'm like, they are going to try to do something. So so when he tried to tell me that, oh, well, he was with his wife, blah, 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 I said, Juan, this man was not with anyone. I watched him walk out. I watched him walk towards the grocery store next door. He was with nobody. Oh, well, that's what he said that he was doing. That's what he said. I was like, here we go. Um, so what my point was, I want to make sure that we're talking about the same guy. So I would like to have a positive ID. We can't give out any personal information. One, I don't want any personal information. I want to make sure we're talking about the same guy. Do you have a picture that I can look at to make sure this is the same guy? They just did not seem interested in trying to figure out if this were the same guy. So the manager that I spoke with over the phone, he had come out from behind the wall, and together these alpha male dudes are like, we don't allow men in the women's bathroom. You know, I had to talk with you when you first signed up. We don't allow this, and that is all nice. Thank you very much, but I need to make sure this is the same guy. You're not gonna, no matter what you say, I'm gonna go back to that. And if you can't give this to me, I'm going to cancel my membership. So they told me that they would call me back the next day, and I knew they wouldn't. And now remember, over the phone, it was, this is the first time I've ever heard about this. First time, yet 2 weeks ago, you claimed that you revoked somebody's membership. So how is it that this is the first time you heard about it, but then you're telling me something different later? So they didn't call me on that Tuesday. And then Wednesday, I called. And then here we go again with the whole spiel about, we don't allow men in the bathroom. That's not why I called Juan. I called because I want to make sure we're talking about the same man. Hold on a second. So he talks to somebody and he comes back and says, completely like, just his voice before and after, completely different. It was a defeated tone. ma'am, the person that you're talking about, that person is a transgender, so that person is a woman. I said, no, Juan, no, no, no. Juan, I want my membership canceled. And he said, okay, we'll do this for you. I'll give you two options. You can freeze your account for 6 months so you can think about it, or we can cancel your membership and I'll give you a refund. And honestly, I paused for a minute because I have been in sports since I was 7 years old. I played soccer in college. A few years after college, I started going to the gym. So this is the first time that I would have had to electively stop going to the gym. And it's just like all these memories of all the people that I had met, all the weight loss, the gains, just I was in disbelief that I had to make this decision, but I said that I would not put my body on display for any man. So I am a very strong-willed person. So I made the decision to have my membership canceled. So he canceled my membership and gave me a refund. And I have been out of the gym now for over a month.
Listening to you talk about this, I know other women I've talked with where this stuff has happened phones existing, but usually it was women knew right away this was a predator that was in there. I'm talking about like in the 80s, 90s, right? Before this stuff was really happening all just as frequently as it is now. And every woman says the same freaking thing. They feel bad about how they didn't handle it at first. They want to rethink everything, like maybe it's something that they're just imagining, everything that women do, right? And usually that stuff is based on, well, first of all, growing up female, and we're always wanting to we can't possibly think ill of somebody that way. But women, when that didn't happen as frequently as it is now, a lot more were ready to like, get out of here. Hey, you don't belong here, that kind of stuff. Not to say that women didn't respond the way you did too, where it's like, it can't be. What am I doing? You're still walking around in the towel. You're trying to figure things out. And that is no shame at all, because woman after woman after woman, usually it comes from something's happened in the childhood, something's happened, whether parents or some older person has said, now don't be like that, or he's not that kind of man, you've imagined it, or something. So I'm just wondering if anything, I hope you're not beating yourself up about this. I realize this happened several months ago, but do you still go through stuff like that where you're feeling like, oh, I don't know,
I honestly, I think if I didn't know how this ideology has allowed men to free ball in the bathroom, and when women come forward, their memberships are revoked. The men or basically the management supports the men who are abusing the women in the locker room, whether it be sexual harassment or indecent exposure. If I didn't know about all this, I think I would have reacted slightly differently. But in my mind, I'm already thinking about how this is a losing battle. How Cubana Angel with the WeSpa incident in back in July of 2021, she was so animated. She kept saying over and over, "There is a dick," and it just seemed like that one particular guy had his blinders on. He didn't even hear it. 30 years ago, if anybody heard that there was a penis in the bathroom, in the women's bathroom, around kids and around other women, there wouldn't have been any type of, oh, well, this might be a transgender. Oh, this might be this. Oh, this might be that. Now we have to have a discussion. And when she talked to the management didn't ask any questions. They just assumed he was transgender or a man.
Which means nothing. And they know it's a man and they don't want to say it.
Exactly. The only reason I said that is because sometimes people, when they think of transgender, they think of a gay man who's gotten $300,000 worth of work done, but that's not who is in the bathroom.
Right.
So immediately they assume that this is the man, or these are the types of, or that this man was a transgender, and nothing was done. Absolutely nothing. And honestly, the minute she said that there was a dick, all that should have just gone away. Whatever you thought, what you think about men who present as women should have all gone out the door, and you should have immediately stormed the bathroom, made him an announcement for women to cover themselves up, and you should have gotten him out of there. There was none of that.
But that
So
shows how this idea, how they've conflated this so badly, that they
mhm,
put this transgender, this made up identity, is something that women are supposed to say, oh, that's safe. I'm okay.
mhm,
And there's the grooming that we've been getting on every level. And now we know that they're doing this with kids in preschool. There can be all
yeah,
these different kinds of genders. And if you hear transgender, there's a pass.
mhm,
Stop. You don't need to be afraid. It's just like the men in the women's prisons. We're bringing, but he's transgender, so it's okay.
yeah, yeah. I
You got gaslit. You got gaslit really badly. And I think it's added on to just female, psychology too, of growing up and being told you've got to be nice no matter the cost, at the cost of your own safety, your own agency, there's no boundaries.
There aren't, and I think I'm 5'3", so I'm really short.
Mhm.
And this guy, I don't think he was particularly tall. I think he was probably around average height. The first guy, about 5'10". So what am I going to do? If I tell him to leave, he's not going to leave. And I think he might have even gotten off to the
Mm,
fact that here's this woman who's 5'3" telling me to get out because she's uncomfortable. I
mhm.
could see him just saying, "Well, I'll just hang around here." So I don't know. I don't know exactly. I guess for me, I just wanted to get out of the situation, hide behind a wall, because again, I'm not even fully clothed.
Mhm.
I'm dressed in a way that I would not have been
Mhm.
if I had known there was a man in there.
Mhm.
Now, this man, maybe somebody would think that, oh, because he drew squiggly eyebrows on, and I think he had some kind of light pink lipstick. And based on the picture that I saw, I think he had breast forms on. I don't
Mhm.
think he got work done, but
Mhm.
he had the breast form that you put your arms through and whatever. And they
Mhm.
were insanely huge breasts, like size
Mhm.
G or
Mhm.
8, something like that.
Mhm.
So maybe somebody thought, well, that's good enough. But nothing else about him was particularly female. He had men's track pants on, men's shoes, a black top, and he had the man jaw and he had the man voice. You could see the man hands in the picture as he's getting soap. Nothing else about nothing nothing would have signaled me that this was anything other than a man. Um, and then yeah, the gaslighting, because it's like you want to try to lie to me, knowing they know that he was a man. I already know this. They knew he was a man. You lie to women and put them in these positions where they are undressed in front of men. They're acting in a way, they're talking in a way that they would not be if they knew men were around. And then when they feel uncomfortable because they know it's a man, you want to continue the abuse
Mhm.
by trying to assure them that this is actually a female so they can continue to undress, continue to be indecent. It totally, all consent is evaporated. And I find it to be especially cruel because I know Jamie.
Mhm.
Jamie even was going to hire me to play the harp for the yoga class. So we had a great rapport. How did we go from that to you're going to lie to me so I can put my body on display for a man that you know is a man?
Did you
You
know
don't.
that's the patriarchy, that's the misogyny that is so deep in all men, gay or straight, that women are collateral damage to them protecting each other, protecting themselves and each other. I said, gay or straight, this is what we women have had to deal with forever.
Yeah. And I wanted to mention real quick that this brought up some childhood memories of
Mm,
sexual abuse. And I
mm,
wanted to draw a parallel real quick.
mm,
The muddying of the definitions of women
mm,
is how I got myself in this position, and I got no recourse.
mm. So we've got this situation where you've gone to two gyms, you've been gaslit at both of them. You've had these
Mhm.
completely different experiences. With the first one, you were left kind of confused because all of them were acting like this guy with huge breasts, fake breasts, and everything else. You know it's a man, you know it's a man. You know it's a man. Your male friends have even seen the pictures. They know it's a man. You got a recording. They know
Mhm.
it's a man. You have the experience of being around a lot of female athletes that have done steroids. You know when a woman's voice has deepened from steroids. This was nothing like that. All
No.
of this stuff. You go to the second gym and you get that. And you hear a story about a man was in the women's bathroom waiting for his wife. Bullshit, right? Gaslit,
Exactly.
gaslit all over. So what did you end up doing? And you love going to gyms, and it sounds like it's been a big part of your life. Second gym, did you go to a third gym to test things out?
Well, I called Planet Fitness, which I don't even know why I did now, especially after the stories I read about what happened in there. But
Mm-hmm.
I asked the gym, I asked them what their policy was. Well, first I asked them, do you have a single occupancy bathroom that I can use? The lady said no. So I explained what my fears were and what I had experienced. She's like, we have floor to ceiling stalls that you can use. And I said, that doesn't change anything because I can still step out of the stall and see a man. So what is your policy on that? And she said, we don't allow men in the bed. And the way she said men, the way she emphasized it, I knew I had to play the game. So I said, okay, do you allow males who present as females or males who wear women's clothing into the women's bathroom? I'm not going to have this conversation with you. So she said that I would need to speak with the manager. She asked me what my name was. I gave her a fake female name. And she's like, well, thank you so much, sir. And she hung up the phone. And I said, okay. And so I immediately I looked up Planet Fitness and I saw
Saw the
several women.
reviews.
Yeah,
Yeah.
saw the women talking about how their memberships were revoked for bringing up the fact that there was a man freeballing in the locker room and intimidating women out of using the facilities that they paid for and things like that. So I just said, okay, I just think that the entire system or the entire gym, all the gyms have been captured because this is technically law now. So I'm going to get this no matter what. So I contacted my trainer in another state because I used to drive down there to see him, and I told him what happened, and he couldn't believe it either. And so we talked for a bit, and he said that we can do this virtually. That'll save you some money. And so he said you're going to have to buy equipment. Now the equipment obviously is going to be over $1,000, but at this point I got to do something because I will not, I refuse to put my body on display anymore for any man. I don't care how much work he's gotten done to his body. So that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to sacrifice that so that I can work out and I don't have to worry about men hanging out in the corner, looking at women walk back and forth and stuff like that. So that's what I'm having to do now at this point.
So you're buying equipment, you're working out at home. Have you changed all? I'm sure it's caused you to change your lifestyle. Has it not in terms of your place?
Yeah, I'm having to get equipment in an already crowded living room and balcony. I'm actually going to work out on the balcony now. But unfortunately, that's really what I'm going to have to do because I'm not going to stop working out. Like this situation is not going to make me stop working out. I will unfortunately have to, I won't be able to go to a hot tub. I won't be able to, work on certain equipment. because I obviously can't afford, tens of thousands of dollars worth of equipment. But my trainer is great. He's experienced, so we can do this. We can get the same types of, I can get the same types of gains with the programs that he's going to have for me. I just have to spend, probably a couple $1,000s in getting a lot of these things so that I can continue to work out, and then I don't have to worry about anything. I just feel I feel bad for the women that unknowingly are, in these locker rooms with these men, and I'm hoping that perhaps, maybe it's a long shot, maybe starting, maybe not a gym, but if enough women are complaining about this, maybe we can get together and figure out a way to do this, on our properties or in the park or something like that. So we don't have to work out in these gyms. And I'm also hoping that for some type of solidarity, once people understand what's going on, maybe they will quit these gyms, put pressure on the gyms to get these laws changed so that women have their own spaces, or at the very least, posting signage that has male and female, so that women can have they have the choice as to whether or not they want to undress or even go in there. One of the two. At least the truth is there if they have male and female. At the very least, women deserve that. Girls deserve that.
Have you seen things going, though, a lot of the bathrooms, everything going to gender neutral, except the men's bathroom? There's men's bathrooms quite often, and then gender neutral.
Yeah, because this is all about men. This isn't even about the females who want to present as male. I find this to be more of a male centered thing and not a female centered thing. So,
well, I guess the last thing I want to say is, knowing what you know now, and it's been some months that you went through that, and what you're saying that you're having to do now. I mean, I know it's about to be summer pretty soon, and maybe that's all well and good for you to work out on your balcony. But what happens when October comes around, or late September, November? What are you going to do? Are you going to change things around? And maybe you'll get a group of women during the summer to figure out some sort of a group thing. Share equipment or something.
Well, wintertime, I have some ski goggles, so I will ride my bike, rain or shine. I'll go for a walk, I'll go for a jog. There are a lot of things I can do as far as aerobic. And then, of course, when it gets too cold, I can bring my resistance training equipment inside. It'll just be really crowded, but I'm not going to ever stop. So if that just means calisthenics, no equipment, that's fine. I will do that before I ever step back into any of the gyms. So I'll definitely have to get creative. My trainer will have to get creative, but I think together we can maintain a great workout for me.
Has this turned you into an activist in a way? And if so, what does that look like? Or are you looking at joining up with any projects or anything that other women are doing now that you see this is a thing? This is like a big thing. This isn't a Babylon Bee or an Onion article.
Yeah. I've thought somebody did bring up, like, maybe you should get like a small group of women and start your own gym. I'm definitely not opposed to that. I guess I'm not finding, because like I said, this is a dark blue county. So I think some things are going to have to happen before women get peaked to do these things, because I haven't really found anyone in this area that has had an issue. Now, I did leave a review for that one gym, the second gym, and I did get a couple of people liking the review. So I'm kind of wondering who those people are and if they've had any experiences with this. But it's a small thing, but it kind of gives me some type of hope. I haven't done any activism yet because I'm really busy with music projects, and then I have, my full-time job. But some things I'm brainstorming now as far as that's concerned. I've tried talking to friends and stuff about, or I'm starting to talk to my liberal friends about the things that have happened to me. Unfortunately, I did not get the I did not get the response that I thought I would have gotten. But I'm just going to keep on just talking now and just spreading the word and letting women know what's going on because as a result of this ideology.
Well, Lady Studio, I thank you so much for taking the time and everything with this, because this is happening everywhere, and you're just another, you become another survivor of this crap.
Yeah.
So next time, if any opportunity comes up, do you think that you're going to kind of call up that inner Cubana angel at all and maybe do some? That's a dick.
I think if I saw a dick, I think that would have been different. The guy had his pants down, but he pulled them up before I walked up on him. But I think if I had seen that, I definitely would have said something. But unfortunately, when the guy's not really doing anything that's particularly illegal, it's hard to have that Cubana angel reaction. But I think that next time if I ever go to a gym, or maybe not a gym, I think I will handle it at that point instead of waiting 2 weeks and being angry and talking about it to the people that can't do anything for me. So I think the next time I'll definitely be more vocal. Or I might even pull a Kelly J, like what she did in Atlanta with that one guy, like
Don Ennis.
Exactly. Like, I'm telling you not to go into the women's bath. Probably something like that. I'm
like, gonna put on a British accent too. That would really get some attention.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think that's what I'll do next time. Next time I see a man in the women's bathroom, like, the men's bathroom is over there.
That's right. That's right. Okay, well, I'll catch up with you later. Thank you so much for sharing your story and everything. And I look forward to seeing whenever you get your YouTube channel launched, because you're talking about that in the future, huh?
Yes, absolutely. So probably I'll probably get started sometime in late spring and summer, because I want to make sure that it's it's well organized and listenable, basically.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lady Studio. Catch you later.
Thank you.